This review paper looks at ocular transmission of COVID, so transmission through the eyes, where it focuses specifically on COVID transmission through the eye, especially through the conjunctiva, the cornea, the sclera, and the nasolacrimal ducts. Of note, this is 2021 research that was published in 2022. And at this time, ocular symptoms included conjunctivitis, dry eye, blurred vision, and foreign body sensation with no long term sequelae. And these symptoms included conjunctival discharge, itchiness, and conjunctival congestion. So in 2021, a recent study had examined 216 children and confirmed ocular manifestations from COVID in 49 of those children, which is about 23% of that study. While in another cross sectional study that looked at adults, 534 adults, 25 of those patients had conjunctival congestion, 112 had dry eyes, 68 had blurred vision, and 63 had foreign body sensations. So, with just these two studies alone, it shows that eye infection with COVID is not that uncommon. Where there are two existing hypotheses for COVID transmission through the eyes. The first considers the conjunctiva as a direct inoculation site of infected droplets. So, this would be contacting droplets with your hand, rubbing your eyes, and getting the COVID infection that way. And the second centers around the nasolacrimal system as a conduit for viral migration to the GI and respiratory tracts. So there could be direct ocular transmission via the tear film where the virus attaches to the ACE2 receptors there and then replicates the virus. And then following this, due to the modal cilia, it could then migrate down into the nasal tract, which then allows it passage into the GI and respiratory tracts. Where one cross sectional study showed that COVID RNA was detected in tears of 24% of patients with laboratory proven moderate to severe COVID. I need to emphasize this does not mean you should be swabbing your eyes. Do not do that. You are very likely to damage them. And then those ACE2 receptors we mentioned have previously been studied and found to be in the human retina and the choroid tissues. So they would be in the retina and then the choroid tissue here. Furthermore, due to the significantly higher corneal expression of the receptors that COVID likes to bind to, it is reasonable to conclude that the cornea rather than the conjunctiva is the most likely infection site for COVID. So that's the most likely site for the infection. However, the conjunctiva may also play a potential route for COVID entry. And if you're a person with dysfunctional and blocked tear ducts, so if you have chronic dry eyes, this increases your risk for infection.